Hello, Richard Beach here for Sonic Stay Amped, Sonic's guitar channel, and today I'm reviewing a guitar that matches my trousers. It's the PV-80-200, the auto-tune guitar. So it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's going to be completely out of tune, and you press a button and it sounds on the other end coming out of your amp like it is in tune. It does that with Antares auto-tune software, which is built into the DSP of the actual guitar itself, and there's some pretty nifty things you can do with this, so we're going to hopefully take you through all of them today. So let's get started. I think first of all I'm just going to show you the very basic thing of how I'm in half step down tuning at the moment, and I can just press one button and I'll be in standard tuning. So here we go. So at the moment, I am completely bypassing the DSP. I'm just going through these pickups in passive mode. But when I push the tone knob down, so if you come close here, it's a push-pull pot, and I've just pushed it down, and I can play the notes. I'll still be in half a step down, but when I then press all the strings and press this knob, I'm now in standard tuning. So it's pretty neat. So basically all you have to do to get it into standard tuning, you can be in any tuning whatsoever, which I'll show you now. Nice. You just play the strings, push the volume knob, and you're back into standard tuning. So it's pretty cool. In terms of the actual the pickups, you've just got two PV passive pickups that have been made specifically for this guitar. This is what the bridge pickup sounds like. And then both together. And now the neck pickup. It sounds good. The action comes out of the box on this really nice actually, and you can take off this transfer that tells you how to use the guitar. And it's a cool looking guitar as well. So let's run through some of the modes. I'll take you through some of the tunings you can use, and get into baritone, which is pretty much what we're all heading towards here. So just before I play, it's a solid basswood body on the guitar, maple neck, but it looks very much like a rosewood fretboard. Good quality tuning pegs and knobs down here, and then I'd say the only thing that feels a bit flimsy is the pickup selector, but it's not really the end of the world. So now I'm in standard tuning. What I want to do is get into drop D, so all I have to do is basically put my finger on the second fret of the E string, play all the strings, and now I should be in drop D. So now we'll do G, open G, and to do that you fret like so, and then you just play all the strings, and it puts you into open G. What the guitar also gives you is perfect intonation all the way up the neck, which is difficult to achieve on any kind of standard guitar. It's not impossible if you've got a good guitar tech, but it's just a handy thing of the guitar. So here we go, open G. So you can see that there's, well, you can hear rather, a good intonation all the way up on the 15th fret on an open. So next one, we will do open D tuning. Here's how you do it. And this is never going to be a shape you play by accident. And I guess that's the idea, is some of these shapes are quite difficult to remember. It's like learning chords all over again, basically. But it means you're never going to play them by accident and then, you know, retune the guitar to something. So it sounds very convincing. The software is really good. It might sound a little bit too perfect for some people. I think it's really aimed at to quite different groups of people. You've got pop musicians who just always want to be in tune, and probably metal musicians who are wanting to change tuning a lot. So that sounds really nice. This is all perfectly in tune, despite the fact my guitar's out of tune at the moment. If I try and do something a bit more cock rocky, dare I say. It just sounds a bit too nice, if that makes sense. It sounds like an overproduced guitar in a studio. So I think for those two extremes, pop and metal, it's great, but in the middle, for rock and roll, maybe not so. Okay, so dropped C. But drop C, not quite as cool as baritone, which you basically do by holding all of your fingers, or holding one finger rather, across all of the strings and just strumming. Yeah, it just sounds, it sounds authentic. It sounds and feels in a way like you're playing much lower than you are, and that's probably because I've actually got this half a step down, so the string tension is slightly down, and that is another good thing about it. If you're bending and you maybe, I like to use a heavy gauge set of strings, so playing it half a step down feels more comfortable for me. I don't think with this guitar it particularly matters what gauge of strings you're using. Right, so other than what we've already done in terms of tunings, you can also do capo style tunings, and you can do 12 string and like sub bass mode and stuff like that. This is when my head begins to explode slightly when it comes to which frets you're pressing and stuff like that for doing these settings. First of all, let's put it into a capo mode. So what I need to do now is, for example, I'll play the 5th fret on the G string, which should then take it up as if I've got a capo on the 5th string. So here we go. Okay, and now I want to make that into a 12 string on the 5th fret with a capo on the 5th fret. All I do is go onto the D string, press the 1st fret, do the same thing again. And another thing I should mention is that when you are tuning to E, so if I turn it off and on again, so I'm out of tune. When you're tuning to E, all you do is just strum the strings, then hold the volume knob down, release it, and you're in standard tuning. If you do the same thing trying to get into one of these other patches, for example, the sub-octave mode, then if I play it, which should be the 2nd fret on the D string, that should be the patch to get me there. If I play that, then hold the volume knob down, and then let go, as I would with any of the other tunings that I've done, it's just all completely wrong. So what you have to do, I'll get back into standard E again. So what you have to do is hold the volume knob down, play the note, let go of the note, let go of the volume knob, and then, fingers crossed, we should be there. So there we go. Now this actually does sound pretty cool, so I'm going to play around with this.
So that's tuning's pretty much covered, but there's also modeling as well, and this means you could change the pickup style that is coming out into the amplifier, so you can flavour your tone quite a lot just by using the guitar before it even reaches your amp. So you can get different pickup models based on how much money you spend on your package, and these could be P90 Telecaster style single coils. You can even make it sound like an acoustic guitar. And we'll look at the three, first of all, that you get on the basic package when you buy the guitar, and those are acoustic, California single coil, which is basically a Strat single coil, and the modern humbucker, which is the one that I've been playing on throughout this review so far. So first of all, let's take a look at the acoustic model. So all you need to do to get to the acoustic is to put your finger on the second fret, push down the volume knob, and then play the said fret. So here we go. Okay, so it sounds a little bit like an acoustic guitar, but if we maybe bring in the 12-string tuning, then it might sound a bit more like an acoustic guitar. So here we go. And the other thing that we have is the California style single coil pickup. So basically this is kind of the pickup you might find on a Stratocaster. Let's see if this actually does sound like that. So you press the first fret down and play it and press the volume knob down. So here we go. 12-string tuning, so let me just do that a second. Yeah, it actually does sound quite convincing to me. Sounds like it's got a bit of that Strat panache behind it. So that's what you get on the basic package, those three things. The more money you spend, the more of those models you get, and we'll explore a few of those now as well. So let's have a look at the vintage humbucker sound, which you get if you shell out for the Pro package, which is $300. Okay, so all you have to do is go to fret 7 on the E string, do the usual. So I think that does sound better than the modern humbucker sound that comes with it. Let's see what a P90 sounds like as well. So for P90, fret 5. So particularly on the neck setting, I think that does get the kind of smooth sound that you get from the P90, particularly on a Les Paul, for example. So yeah, that's really cool. But bear in mind that for these ones, you are spending more money on the software. It's still not an incredible amount of money when you combine it with the guitar, but it's not the basic package that these things come on. And unfortunately, the best models, the best modeling patches seem to be on the more expensive packages. So you also get a bass modeling setting as well, so modeling a pickup that you might find on a bass guitar. And that works particularly well when you are using the bass tuning. So if I get to the bass model, I just go to fret 9, do the usual. Now this is a bass pickup. But obviously I'm on a guitar tuning, so you can't really tell. So then to get to the bass tuning, all I need to do is go to fret 11 of the A string, do the usual, and there I go. So if your bass player passes out, smashes his instrument on stage, then that might get you out of a tricky spot. You can double up on bass and you'll sound a tiny bit like a bass guitarist. So it's time for a roundup, and I think we should just break it down into the different elements of this, which are the software and the guitar itself. 300 quid, if you're buying just this guitar without the software, wouldn't be a terrible purchase, but in that price bracket you've got things like you could probably pick up a Fender Modern Player Series from somewhere for that sort of price, or you could get one of the sort of higher range Squier guitars or something like that. It is a nice enough guitar. It's sturdy. The knobs are metal. It just feels like a well-built guitar. But obviously you've got the software loaded into it as well, and the basic package is it's a good bit of fun and it's handy. It's a handy thing to have lying around. I think the problem is though is that this shouldn't be aimed at people who just want to have a bit of fun with it. This sort of guitar really should be for people who have maybe 5 different guitars they take on the road because they're all in different tunings and they just don't want to do that anymore, and they want something that can simplify their rig and they can just take this and this can be their workhorse. I'm not 100% convinced that any serious player would have this as their workhorse guitar because it's not high quality enough, and it's a bit finicky to use, especially I think in a gigging situation. And also the more money you outlay for these packages, you are in a way getting diminishing returns because a lot of the useful stuff is on the basic package. So for me, I think if this was a higher quality guitar and if the software just came all as one piece, without having to upgrade it and spend more money on it, this for about 600 or 700 quid, if it was a great guitar and had all that software on it, I think would be brilliant for the kind of people who I think this is aimed at. But I think this is missing those people and is actually hitting the sort of people who would be more likely to just be messing around with it in their room or doing small gigs with it, basically.